Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm in the Lake District today in Wasdale. We were here a month ago, climbing up Dore End and Scarfell Pike. This time I'm going up the other side, which is to Red Pike and Scoat Tarn. So I'm hoping to camp out there tonight. So I'll catch you later. Cheers. Well, I say I've just parked up next to the lake, the car park, halfway up the West Water, and I'm going to make my way up to Scoat Tarn. I think you can see Yewbarrow behind me. I'm not going up there. Just skirt around the side of it and get onto the tarn. Depending on what the situation is with the midges, I may camp there or may move up a little further up to Little Scoat Fell. There's a wall there and camp next to that is quite sheltered, and hopefully it'll be above the midges, because unfortunately midges love me and I absolutely hate them. Anyway, carry on, it's a bit of a slog to go. I'll see you in a bit. Well, a slight change of plan. I was hoping to go to Scoat Tarn this evening via Red Pike, but unfortunately, because I got here so late and my pack was actually heavier than it was the last time we was here, slowed me down quite a bit. I've decided to camp just below Dore End. Yewbarrow's behind me there. Stirrup Crag, and what I'll do tomorrow, I'll pack up the tent and then make my way up to Red Pike and then make my way down to Scoat Tarn. I've got to say I've got a couple of days here, so depending how I feel, I may pitch up tomorrow night at Scoat Tarn, but I know there's got to be a bit of a change in weather, so we'll just have to see how we get on. Anyway, it's best to get the tent up now. It looks quite light now on the video, but actually in reality it's getting quite dark now. So but a good thing I got my tent up. And I'll show me my sleeping arrangements as well in a second. I just bought this Decathlon tent, 4 class. It's a one-person tent. It was only 110 quid. It's pretty decent. It's the 3-season tent. First time I've had it out, so we'll see. But not a bad little tent really. And it weighs 1.3 kilograms. What I've done, I've got my inflatable mat underneath here. I bought this actually. It's Jokel. It's a Swedish company, but like most things, these things are made in China. But it's to the Jokel specification, and they had very good reviews actually. Got it through Amazon. I'll put the link on the description of the video. It was only I think it was 26 quid. I mean, some people are paying well over £100, even more. Their sleep mat. Pretty decent really. It only takes about 3 or 4 puffs, about 10 puffs maybe, to get it inflated. And I've got a 3-season bag. It's a Euro height one actually. It's half down, half hollow fill. Just gives me a little bit more insulation, but not only that, a bit lighter than a full hollow fill bag. Too bulky, aren't they? This one packed down quite well. And again, it's quite light. I think it's only like 1.3 kilograms. Not too bad for a downstroke hollow fill bag. And the tent itself's got this little flap at the side here. It's got a small little ground sheet underneath. You can store your rucksack. It's quite neat really. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get my brew on, get something to eat, and then into bed I think. It'll be dark soon. But so I've got some water on now, and I've got some beef goulash. That's going to go in a second. It's boiling already, the water. Have that for me tea. I think I've got some bananas and custard for pudding, and I'll use the I'll use the water to make a brew. So I'll get this sorted out and I'll come back to you in a minute. Right, I think me brew is ready now. Let's give it a go. Looking forward to this, I'm telling you. Really looking forward to it. Oh, that looks good. Let's have a taste. That's very nice. Well, this is banana. This is bananas and custards if you've never seen it before. So just dip it in, and they're going to eat it. Good. I've just heated that custard up. So just dip it in. Put a bit of grass in there as well. A bit extra. Dip it in. Oh, lovely that is, I tell you. Beautiful. I've got another banana there, but I'm saving that for tomorrow. Got my brew now. It's not the best, not the best cappuccino I've ever had, but it's wet and it's warm. Excuse me for the snivels. I'll have a little brew now. finished my brew, and then next time we'll speak to you, I'll be in my sack. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'll settle into my tent now. Just having a little read of this book. I've read it several times. It's called The Villain. It's the life of Don Whillans. Any young guns happen to be watching this might not know who Don Whillans is. If you're over 40, you probably will. Certainly if you're interested in the mountains. Now, Don was one of the top rock climbers, come out of the post-war era. Top rock climbers in the UK and probably the world, to be honest. In the 1950s and 1960s and part of the 1970s. Don teamed up with a guy called Joe Brown. You may have heard of him. He was from Manchester and Don was from Salford, and they paired up as a fantastic rock climbing team. Revolutionised rock climbing in Wales and Europe, really. And Don particularly became a fantastic Himalayan mountaineer. He was on a number of successful expeditions, but the most famous one was the southwest face of Annapurna in 1970. Him and Dougal Haston got to the summit, and the expedition was led by Chris Bonington. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because this book, although it's a fantastic read, some fantastic stories and anecdotes, and a well-researched book, there's one or two little omissions, particularly near the end. It's written by Jim Perrin, and not saying that's the fault of Jim's, but it's just probably lack of information. Now, the reason why I mention it is because this book also, there was a film made in 1985, June 1985. I think it was a BBC series. It was called Don Whillans' Last Climb, and it was a climbing. He was in his 50s then, and he did a climb, like revisited a famous climb in Llanberis Pass that him and Joe Brown put up in the 1950s. It's called Cemetery Gates, and Don did this climb in 1985. And as I say, he was out of condition. He was quite overweight. Joe was fantastically fit, even for his age at the time, and kept that way until his death recently. Anyway, it was billed as Don Whillans' last climb, and actually, it wasn't his last climb. His last climb was with me in Lecco, in Italy, where we climbed a pinnacle called Il Sigaro. It's quite a difficult route. I think it's probably hard VS, and the reason why we were there, we were in our bikes. He had a Kawasaki 550, I had a Kawasaki 750, and we were going down into Italy to go to a big motorcycle rally in Bardinecchia called the Stella Alpina. I was supposed to meet a friend of ours, Harry Smith, who's again another top climber in the 50s and 60s. But anyway, we went down there, and we also wanted to meet a couple of climbers who were going to climb the Philip Flan on the Civetta. Hugh Banner and I can't remember the other person. Anyway, and we met up with them at the Civetta, and they had some friends with them, and basically we just helped them carry the gear up to the climb. We weren't intending to do any climbs, but before that we'd actually done this route called Il Sigaro. We stopped at a friend's of Don's in Lecco, in Italy, and also we were a top Italian climber who was quite old then. Was invited over to the house, and we had dinner with him. And it was Cassin, a famous Italian rock climber. Although I'm not dabbled in rock climbing and done a bit of rock climbing, but nothing to the standards of Don and people like Cassin, So I was in the shadows, really. Just kept my mouth shut most of the meeting, but it was fascinating listening to them and reminisce and talk. But anyway, the next day we went out and did this route. I seconded it, and Don led it. Even anyway, he was not in very good physical condition, really. Anyway, unfortunately, just after we got back, Don died. He looks like he died in his sleep at a friend's house near London. He stopped when I left him. He left him just south of London. He went off to stay at some friends, and I went back up to Manchester. And Don stayed with some friends, and apparently he was there for a couple of days. And one day they went up, second day something, they went up to rouse him, and he was dead in bed. So anyway, the reason why I mention this is because nobody really knows that. I mean, it's not mentioned at all in this book, his last few days, and certainly my presence is not known in the book. I'm not saying that's any fault of Jim's, it's just the information he had at the time, I suppose. But and the BBC thing was saying, is his last climb? Wasn't his last climb? His last climb was the Yewbarrow in Lecco. Quite a serious climb, actually, and we did it with minimal gear. And again, even though he was not in good condition, his technique's fantastic, really. But I count myself lucky, really, because he could have died on that route. Which, funnily enough, only a couple of months earlier, he was doing a climb for a series of climbs, classic climbs, on Clogwinder Hardy with Bill Peascod, and Bill Peascod died on the rope with Don. That could have happened to me. Unfortunately, it didn't, but it was tragic anyway. So I thought I'd just mention it. When I put the video together, I've got one or two photos of Don and stuff like that from that trip. Not brilliant photographs, because those days, we didn't have the digital cameras and all that kind of stuff. We just had some rubbishy old camera. But I may insert some photos on the video. I thought, well, whilst I'm up in the mountains, it's probably worth mentioning this little story. Certainly, there was a comment in this book here by a guy, I don't know if he's still alive now, probably not, was saying that basically Don, when he saw Don on this Italy when I was with him, he was kind of washed up, really, you know what I mean, poor physical condition. But when I was with Don at the time, he was saying he's going to get himself fit, and he wanted to come back and do some of the classic alpine routes. He's going to lose weight, and he's going to sort himself out and stuff like that. And he invited me to come over with him, and the following year maybe do some of these climbs. Whether I could manage them or not, I don't know. But I certainly, if he'd been fitter, and I'd be more than happy to go along with him. Certainly with his experience. But anyway, unfortunately, it never happened because he died. Anyway, I thought I'd just sort of mention it just before I go to bed. And I'll see you in the morning. I'm just going to have my little G&T. Oh, lovely. And I'll bid you good night. And I'll see you in the morning. Bye. Morning. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. But the wind's got up, actually. Yes, that's what's woke me up. Blowing about a bit. Wasn't forecast strong winds, but I suppose the forecast is probably for the valleys. They're getting fairly strong gusts. Nothing to worry about, but it just disturbs you, doesn't it? The tent rattling and that. So I've woken up now. I popped my head out the tent door earlier, and I can see where the sun's coming up. Looks like it could be a good sunrise. So I just got to get out of the tent, and I can see me set my camera up to hopefully film the sunrise. As I said before, it's just blowing around a bit, but hey ho, that's the mountains for you, I suppose. I'll see you in a short while. Morning, and it's a beautiful morning today, absolutely brilliant. I've just seen the sunrise over the back of Great Gable, absolutely fantastic. Last night it was quite windy, but it's settled down now. Just near Dore Head, it's between Red Pike and Stirrup Crag. Red Pike's up that way, Stirrup Crag's just over here, a few hundred yards. I'll just do, oh, brew's almost done now. Pour it out. There we go. I can't think of a better place to have a cup of coffee, to be honest. That's done. Going to have some porridge shortly. Lovely little brew, this. Supposed to be a cappuccino. And there it is, lovely brew. Once I've had me porridge, I'll start to pack up. I'm surprised how much paraphernalia you have with you. It's not the most pleasant part of the camp, is it? Packing up. And so once I've had this, I'll get back to you. This is where I camped last night, and as ever, LNT, leave no trace. If more people did that, we'd have probably less hassle with wild camping. As you probably know, some people have been having difficulties and being moved off places. I know most of this area is that wild campers leave the sites like this. Well, I'm heading off now after a really good wild camp. Up to Red Pike, which is back there, top, and back down through down to Scoat Tarn, and make my way back to Westwater. I'll see you in a bit. Well, halfway up to Red Pike now, the steepish path over this crag. I've got to take my timer, rucksack's quite heavy and getting a bit warm now. I would use my poles, but I can't when I'm recording, so it tends to be a little bit unstable on my feet. Okay, I'm at the top of Red Pike. There's my beast of burden. Just going to go wander to the edge here now. It's quite sheltered on this side. As soon as you step onto this edge, the wind whips up, comes up that valley. Gets a bit blowy. I say I've not seen anybody all day. I've just heard some voices. They're probably carried in the wind. I haven't seen anybody at the moment, but it's definitely heard voices. You won't want to step off here on a misty day. You'd be curtains, I'm afraid. There's the cairn. Just looking towards sea scale over there. Last water. Scarfell Pike. Great Gable. Great End. It's starting to go a bit hazy now. Looking at the forecast, I think it's going to be a bit changeable tonight. I'm not decided what I'm going to do today, whether I'm going to carry on do some more peaks or whether head down past Scoat Tarn. Fancy getting some pictures of Scoat Tarn. Down at Scoat Tarn now. Still fairly windy down here actually, surprisingly. I thought it would be a bit calmer, but you keep getting these gusts of wind. Just made myself a nice coffee.
We just heard from that clip ahead of this game. We heard the England captain Joe Root speaking of his memories of attending matches, how important that it was to him to be able to play in front of a crowd once again. And it seems like actually in many ways the action in the middle has been a little bit incidental to the greater spectacle.
Just about to leave Scoat Tarn now, heading back to last water. So I'll leave you here. I hope you enjoyed the video and the wild camp. And if you did, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe to my channel. And even better, press that notification button so you get to be informed the next time I upload a video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye.